Hey there, this is Prentice, and today what we're going to do is just a little mobility warm-up. I know I've posted a warm-up on some of the previous videos, but today in my space here, it's about 115 degrees, so this is the first really hot day of the year, so just like anything else, with your fitness, don't want to go in too hard on the first day. I want to give myself a day or two to acclimate to the weather that's outside, because I do most of my training outside. And if you're an outside trainer, give yourself always a couple of days to do the same. So you're never going to jump right away into an icy lake. You start to give yourself you temper your body, you allow yourself a little time to get used to it. So I'm doing the same thing in the heat. What we're going to start with, a little neck rotation, neck movements. So I want to take myself through flexion. I want to bend my neck, flex my neck so that the chin touches the chest, and look up. And we'll repeat this movement. Ideally, do as many repetitions as your age. Now we're moving to rotation, and rotation in this case is just looking side to side. Once I get my head rotated to the point that I'm happy with, I can start to look up and down. Add a little flexion and extension onto the end range. And explore these ranges of motion. Let your body know that it's okay to go there. And next we're going to do a little lateral bending, side to side. This is very important. Where the head goes, where the head and neck go, that's where your body follows. When you're playing any sports, head movement is very important. We want to start there and move down the extremities. Start from the center of your body and move out. Okay, top, down, from center, and then to out. Now, let's do a little chest movement. So what I want you to do is brace your core, so squeeze those glutes tight and draw those abs in. If you don't know what drawing in means, just go ahead and tap yourself on your stomach there, and your body tightens up reflexively against that. That's what I want you to do. So we've created a brace in the back, we've created a brace in the front. Now I want you to tighten your pelvic floor muscles as if you're trying not to go to the bathroom, and tighten those pelvic floor muscles in, draw the abs in. So now we have a brace from the bottom, front, and back. So in this position, bring the feet together, and what we're going to do is lift the chest up. Imagine that you're being drawn like a marionette. Have a string attached to the sternum. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. And then crunch. Bring that up and tighten the abs. So I'm not bending the spine here, but rather think about compressing. You're going to take an inhale and compress. Inhale and compress. Now, what we're going to do is take that and move side to side. And if you're watching, please follow along. It's a little bit tough to get into your brain if you're just sitting there looking at this. So try to move along with me. If you're out in public, don't bring too much attention to yourself. The next thing we're going to do is put those two movements together and circle. So we have flexion and extension, and we have this lateral glide. We're going to circle. Change directions. Now, we're going to take that movement, this circling movement, and draw a figure eight. So we're going to, this figure eight is going to happen more in the transverse plane here. And you can't hear me on camera really, but I'm inhaling and exhaling. And change directions. If you feel a little place as you're doing the movement where you feel a little stuck, go ahead and explore that. Spend a little time over there and smooth out that movement. Okay, now we're going to bring that movement down to the pelvis. So we started at the head and worked our way down the spine. So with the pelvis, we're just going to make circles. Not big circles like this, very small circles. Think about belly dancing. Change directions. Same thing now, we're going to add a figure eight. And if you're not feeling any cracking, any fancy term is crepitus, if you're not feeling that, but your movement feels still a little shaky, like your pelvis is saying, I don't want to do that so much just yet. Go ahead and practice until this movement is a little bit easier to do. Okay, so now we're moving up, back up to the shoulder. So we're starting at the shoulder joint, moving from the shoulder joint out to the hands. So the first thing we're going to do is a candy wrapper. Rotate one shoulder out so that the palm comes up, and we're going to take the other arm and rotate it in. And we're going to keep working. Imagine that you're holding two cups. And just try to be as smooth as possible. Next, on this side that's rotating in, we're going to unpack the shoulder, reach, and pull it back. Get a couple of circles there. Change, reach, and do a couple of circles there. And put it together. Now, the elbows aren't really circling, but I'm calling this movement elbow circle. Imagine that you're brushing the sweat off of your forehead, which is not a difficult thing for me to imagine because it's 110 degrees in my garage here. Now, let's reverse the movement. Brush the back of your head. Now, wrist rotations. And again, do as many repetitions as your age until you feel like you have a free range of movement. You can get your joint into the full range of motion. Good. Now we're going to move back up before we continue and do a little dynamic stretch with the chest. So this one's going to work on a little speed and a dynamic stretch. I want you to draw those abs in and cross your arms in front of your body 3 times, and then open up with the palms facing forward. Here we go. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Good. Now, we're going to start to work on the lower extremities, and let's do a balance. And we're just going to move this leg from side to side here. Make sure that the knee is above the crease of the hip and that you're driving your stance foot into the floor. Abs are drawn in. And let's circle. Change directions. Now, you're going to straighten your legs out and draw figure 8. If you feel like you're falling off balance, as I did just there, reset. We don't want to pattern bad balance. We don't want to survive the movement. We want to thrive. So if you feel like you're having difficulty with the balance, just shorten the range of motion of what the free leg is doing. Now, change directions. And another detail on my stance leg is I'm not really curling the toes, although I am gripping the ground with my feet. I don't have like a claw in the ground in my mat here. Now, finally, I'm going to get into what I've learned in yoga as a standing half lotus. I'm going to cross into this figure 4 position. Sit back. And get a stretch on those rotators in the hip. Don't try to force it. Don't try to go into a bad posture to get the stretch. As you progress and add these warm-ups to your routine daily, you'll get more flexible. So the next thing that we want to do is come back to that position here, this standing figure 4. And I'm going to give myself a little foot massage. Your feet spend a lot of time on the floor. They give your body a lot of information about the environment. You want to do some work on them daily. I'm going to step here because I have a previous ankle injury, so I can't really balance that well on that mat. So I'm going to step off to a more stable surface. Now, we're ready to do some more dynamic movements. What we're going to do is interlock the fingers behind the head. Try to point the elbows out to the sides. If you can't right now, that's no problem. Just gradually work up to that. Feet pointing straight ahead and shoulder width apart. And we're going to squat. Now, I'm going to release my hands, touch the toes, and come up and stretch. If you have to put your hands on your shins or your knees, no problem. Try to keep the lower back relatively straight. And stand up and reset. Interlock the hands behind the head. Squat down. Grab the toes. And stand up. You can do 5 to 10 of these. as you place the demand on your body to get into this position, my body's starting to warm up, as will yours. Now, moving on, I'm going to do an inner thigh stretch. Stand a little bit wider than shoulder width, and essentially you're just going to lunge down to the side. Hold the end range. 3, 2, 1, switch. 3, 2, 1, switch. 3, 2, 1, switch. And you can do 8 to 10 of those, or when your body, do as many sets as you need to until your body lets go. And finally, we're going to do a dynamic hip flexor stretch and use some clubs. It's a cool sound. So I'm going to take these clubs and lift them in this plane here about. So if this is 0, 90's all the way out here. I'm going to bring the clubs at a 45. Bring them up through this plane. Gently touch my shoulder blades. And lunge. Now I'm going to actually drop the knee down, tuck the rear end here, and get a little stretch in the front of my thigh. I'm ready to come up. I'm going to bring the clubs up and down. Changing legs. Now we're going to do random movement. So I have a martial arts background, and you may have something different, but what I want you to do is just move through a couple of ranges. Think of some random movements that you want to do. It may be a dance step. Think about dancing with your partner. Think about if you're doing martial arts. Move your head, slip, change your stance. So whatever that is, spend a couple of minutes taking your body through all of those ranges of motion. I may box a little bit and then do tango. Do those tango steps, whatever that is, 5 to 10 minutes of random movements. Now, as far as when you practice this, it's my advice, go ahead, get up early in the morning, and do this as a recharge before you start your day. Roll out of bed, have a couple glasses of water, do this recharge, and hop in the shower, off you go, finish up with your morning routine. Okay, so that's it. Please leave your comments in the video in the comment section below. If you like it, go ahead and if you like this video, go ahead and like it, and please share this with your friends. I want to build a community of like-minded people. For those of you who are approaching 40 and over, and if you haven't been at it, haven't been in an exercise routine, I want you to come back, leave your comments, leave your questions, and try to get those answered. Also check me out on Functional Fitness Over 40 over on Facebook. Thank you. See you soon.